That I don't know because everybody pretty much treated me the same way.
Yeah.
And I tried to treat them as if they would treat me. So there might have been.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, that's what I'm saying. You might not have known about it. There may have been those feelings towards you guys, and they just didn't show that part of it to you. So that's a tough question for you to be able to answer anyway. I've wondered this about the series too. What motivated you to want to, especially now that you see the finished product, what motivated you to want to be a part of this thing? Did they pay you? Did they encourage you in a certain way? What was their pitch to you to get you to participate?
To get the truth out, and it was kind of a therapy release for me because I had everything built up so much that it was actually starting to affect me, and it was basically the truth and therapy.
Okay. So there was no motivation other than that, just that you wanted your side of the story. Because, I mean, listen, that can be a motivation. A lot of people will participate in something like that because the filmmakers say, well, so-and-so is going to talk and this other person's going to tell their story. Don't you want to be able to define your own story as opposed to somebody else telling it for you? So that makes sense. That checks. I'll buy that. What about there's a story last week that Joe's suing the government. He's in jail right now. He's going to be there for a while. He's suing the government because he says he was falsely convicted. And where do you fall on now with some time to look back on it, on all of that stuff that happened and wound up putting Joe in jail? Do you think that Joe was wrongly convicted?
No, he wasn't wrongly convicted.
So you think that he really did set out to try and kill her? Because I think his thing is he says he was saying that, but he never really meant that, and he didn't really hire, I can't remember the guy's name that was working for Jeff Lowe, Alan, that he didn't really hire him to really go kill her.
Well, the only thing I can really say on that is that I know Alan disappeared.
Yeah.
That's really all I can do. And I don't know exactly what all details are out there, but
Well, and listen, I don't want to get you into trouble. I don't want you to go anywhere that could open you up for litigation. I just want you to be able to state your opinion on certain stuff. Did you believe? I guess this is the way I'll ask the question. Did you believe that Joe really wanted her to go away? And we know what I'm implying with go away.
There were a lot of times that he did.
Yeah. Do you look back on it a lot? There's a lot of criticism of the series that the mistreatment of the animals, the conditions that they lived in. Do you look back on it and think that regret any of the way that you guys approached taking care of those animals in the zoo?
You know, the whole time I worked there, the whole 16 years, everything was taken care of very well. I mean, every time you go up to a cage, an animal will greet you. There was times that we gave up our own pay to make sure that the animals had food.
Right.
Or they had veterinary care. We did a lot and gave a lot and sacrificed a lot for those animals.
How do you justify the stories? This is what a lot of people have had issues with. And listen, I get what you're saying because you guys were eating expired meat off the truck so that the animals also had money to go to their care and stuff. What do you say to people that are critical of Joe killing those tigers and burying them on the property?
Well, as far as I know, from the name that was said in the Netflix series, Cuddles, I know he was an old tiger. Right. But I know there was no reason for him to be put down. And as far as the others, I don't know what was wrong with them, so I can't really say if it was justified or not. Right.
So do you think that stuff was Joe? Let me think about how to phrase this in a way that's gonna make sense. Do you think Joe was doing things even at the time that you were there that you guys had no idea about, meaning stuff like that? Now, obviously, Cuddles, if Cuddles disappears, you guys are going to wonder where Cuddles went. But some of the tigers, could he have been doing some of this stuff and people that were working there at the zoo have absolutely no idea about it?
Oh, yeah, I can tell you that for a fact because I can tell you that he's used my name many, many times on different things, and I had no clue that it was even going on.
Did you know he was putting the zoo in your name when he did?
He asked me.
Yeah. And you agreed to do it?
Yeah.
Because you thought you could protect the assets from Carol Baskin by doing that, right?
Well, I thought the Carol stuff was pretty much going to be over by the time that I took over the zoo or something.
Right.
And it obviously wasn't.
Well, it's a fascinating story. I mean, I came away from, I tell you, the people that I had the most empathy were for all of you guys that were working at the zoo. And I think it does make sense that Joe was doing stuff that you guys had no idea about when you were there. It seemed to me that the people that were there for the animals and felt like they were doing the right thing, you can have an opinion on whether a zoo like that should exist or not. But I do think that you and Rinky and Eric and Saf and all of those people that were working at the park were doing it for sincere reasons. And so I feel bad for you that there's a lot of heat that's being dumped on you guys that I think is undeserved. You guys are sort of collateral damage in this story that's really about Carol and Doc Antle and Joe and Jeff Lowe and those people. So I have a lot of empathy for you from that. I guess the thing that I want to ask you before I let you go is, out of all of this, people that have watched the show, people that have formed an opinion about you and about all of this stuff, what's the one thing you would want people like that to know without them having the ability to sit down and talk to you?
I don't really know an answer to that one.
Yeah? There's not... Go ahead.
It's just... Huh? Yeah, don't assume that I'm a bad guy or anything. I've got a lot of messages from people and everything, and the ones that really know me, they're going to tell you exactly what I was in the video. I'm a great guy. I'm not going to judge anybody for their opinions. They don't know. I'm going to try and get the truth out.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, people jump to opinions and they don't know people. They don't know what people's story was behind the scenes. I think people, especially a show like this, leads people to assume that they know the full story based on what they saw, and we may or may not know that. And my hope is that if they do a second season, they will show that part of what you're saying that they had access to that they didn't show, and maybe it will help you alleviate some of the hate that's come at you on social media. So I guess I'll finish by saying, man, I really do appreciate you reaching out to us and taking the time to come on and talk to us. I know that it was a weird time. I know that it was a weird situation. And more than anything, I know you felt like you'd left that part of your life behind. And now all of a sudden this thing, even though you knew you had participated in the documentary, I don't think you anticipated that the reaction to it, the visibility of it was going to be anything like what has come out of the series debuting on Netflix.
Oh, no, never imagined it. Ever. Never in a million years could I imagine this.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate it. Best of luck to you and your fiance. Stay on the track. Keep going to work and doing the right thing, and I hope you guys have a great life together.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks, John. It's John Finlay. You can see him on Tiger King, which is on Netflix right now. If you're one of the few people that haven't watched it, you need to go check it out, and you know, maybe this gives you a little more background to it than what you had before. And again, I'll say this. Anybody that's associated with anybody that was involved in the show, whether they were on the series or not, if they work there, if they've got an aspect of the story that they'd like to get out, I'm happy to talk to anybody. If you can get in touch with us and prove to us that you've got an association with it and you've got a story you want to tell, we're happy to talk to you. I love hearing these stories, and I love giving people the opportunity to correct whatever they think the misperception is based on what people have seen in the series. It's Rick and Brad Radio. It's Monday morning. We'll take a break and be back in just a minute on The Cat.
Rick and Brad on Rock 100.5. The Cat.